Thornycroft Trusty. Well, welcome to our classic car, and it's a glorious Sunday morning. So we've got the 1924 Dodge out. It's been awoken from its slumber. It hasn't moved in several months really, so I gave it a bit of a spruce up yesterday, and today is the Cheshire Run, which is a run of classic and later lorries that congregate at the truck stop over the way over there. So we're going to watch them arrive, have a look round when they're parked up, and then we'll probably watch them disappear back to their original start point, which is how things go. So let's wait and see what turns up today. The first one's through, a couple of fire engines. It looks like a 1980s ERF. Dad and his Moggy Miner. Proper oldie coming past now, an old Albion. Now a Foden. The Bedford TK. With a classic lorry in ERF this time. Not quite a classic lorry, but a classic tractor. Classic Volvo. Two Bedfords. Right, quick change of position, and while we're walking over to where the lorries gather, we thought we'd have a quick look at this classic AEC Mercury. Real beauty. The wraparound screen, so I'm guessing late 50s, beginning of the 1960s, but I'll check the date. An absolutely stunning old lorry. Nice to see an AEC as well. You see plenty of ERFs and Fodens around here, but not so many AECs. On the back we've got a lovely old Fordson tractor. You do get the occasional classic car turning up as well. Nice old Foden. Probably a 1950s Foden. 80s ERF. This is a lovely old Manchester registered Leyland.
He's just arrived, so I'll go find him.
They even got a Bond micro car. What do we have over here? In the livery of British Road Services, or BRS, but a magnificent Thornycroft Trusty. Isn't that lovely? Twin steer at the front. Got an immaculate AWD here as well. This was Bedford based. Once again, fantastic sign writing. If you've watched any of the other classic lorry videos, you'll know that I'm a fan of sign writing. Got a very smart Ford Corsair here. A fairly rare Escort turbo alongside. Another classic Ford. This is a Ford Thames 307E van. Quite a rare machine. This often appears on the Cheshire Run. It's often seen parked up here. It's in beautiful, beautiful condition. Old vans get really hammered, so it's rare to see any survive, especially with the sides that straight. You just hardly ever see them now. Got an old ERF coming in now. This is the Bedford TK that we saw driving past before. A few flies have met their maker on the front of this particular TK today. This is an R registration, so fairly late example of the breed. These came out in the 1960s. Alongside that, we've got a Scania. Some more classic lorries, two classic ERFs here. We've got a 1980s ERF, and alongside that something a little earlier, late 50s or early 1960s. Really beautiful old lorry, powered by the Gardner 150 diesel engine. Let's have a quick walk around and see what classic lorries are already parked up. Here's a DAF S registration, so what's that, late 1970s? And tucked away next to its younger brother is this Volvo here, an F88. Like all these lorries, in immaculate condition. And here's that lovely old Leyland Lynx we saw earlier on. Absolutely stunning. I'll check the year of registration on that one. I'm not quite sure. I'm guessing 1940s, early 1950s possibly, but no later than that. It could even be pre-war. Yeah, I'm guessing it's probably pre-war actually, looking at this lamp, if this is original to it. This is quite early. The old CAV lamps. A gorgeous cast radiator surround. Wonder if we can have a peek inside. Ah, the window's open. Hurrah! What a gorgeous old vehicle this is, flatbed body on it. And behind the Leyland Lynx we have that gorgeous Bedford OB bus coach that pulled in earlier on, duple bodied. Such a stylish machine. If you have a look back through some of the videos I posted, or one of the videos I posted slightly earlier this year, an evening meeting, a car gathering, this particular Bedford OB turned up for that, and it's just a stunning vehicle, so I'm quite happy to feature it again. Let's have another quick look round, just remind ourselves some of the details of this particular OB. One of my favourite coaches or buses of all. I remember as a kid we used to go on holiday in South Wales and found a pair of these dumped outside a former bus garage. I think at least one of them went on to be restored. Oh, we can have a peek inside. And just imagine lots of jolly day trips and trips to the seaside. Note the opening roof. Absolutely stunning old Bedford. I just love the detail of this era. You know, none of this was needed, none of this aluminium trim. It could be like a modern coach and bus, all squared off and efficient, but no, someone's actually made the effort and styled it and designed it to look attractive. And this is just beautiful. If you're watching this and you're a fan of classic lorries, vintage lorries, coaches, buses, please let me know in the comments which is your favourite of the vehicles featured here, and if I feature one of yours, please say hello as well and tell us a bit more about it. Just something about old commercial vehicles that I just think just makes them so appealing. And some are more appealing than others, and this is right at the top of the tree in my book. Right, let's go and see what other lorries and old vehicles are here today. A spot of Americana now, we've got a diesel powered Mack B61. This is how they were doing it on the other side of the pond, I'm guessing 1950s. Glorious, glorious vehicle. Oh, there you go. Shropshire registration, 1965. What a fantastic vehicle this is. Even the mirrors have got Mack on them. These are the East Coast style mirrors. Sleeper cab. Let's have a peek inside. In beautifully restored condition. Just look at the condition of the chassis. That really is a Bobby Dazzler, or whatever the American equivalent of a Bobby Dazzler is. Just look at the paint finish on that. Deedsville, class of 65. The Mack Bulldog on there. Now, alongside it, we're back to British lorries, and we have this immaculately sign-written old ERF. This has featured before in some of the lorry videos that are on here. Beautifully turned out as always, but what's really interesting is what's on the back. Well, a quick look at the Mack. Now, on the back, we have this glorious old ERF registration GMR 93. Now isn't that bonny? I'm guessing post-war, so late 40s, early mid-1950s, probably not much later than that. Again, lovely presentation, all stripped, repainted. Mark 1 Golf just drove by. Oh, that's a lovely example, that is. Right, let's carry on. Next to this Romanian registered Volvo, we have that Bedford TK that drove past before. Line painting contractors. All the kit on the back. Next up, a Ford D series recovery from about 1970 or thereabouts. A big V8 badge on the back. Custom cab. I'm about to get run over, I think. Nice to see something that isn't a flatbed or a recovery vehicle. This is a Foden based cement mixer. Fantastic. There's a bit of a brass plaque on here. I think that's the Mickey Mouse cab, I think they call that, because of the wraparound screens, which look a bit like Mickey Mouse's ears, apparently. Isn't that lovely? (1967). Does look a bit earlier than that, but ERF, early 1990s. Sun's just broken out, fantastic. And we got a Volvo of the 1980s. Flatbed body, recovery, I think. This is a Volvo F616. And over here is the little comma that drove past before, the fantastic little minibus. I think we'll have to have a closer look at this. This appears regularly at local events. Look at all the tinted roof screens. Beautiful little vehicle. Isn't that a little stunner? We saw this Thames 4D driving in before as well. I think we've seen this one before somewhere. As I said in the previous video, there were two versions of these available. The 4D was a diesel powered lorry, and then you had the ET6, which was the petrol. These badges on the side of the bonnet are the same as those on the E83W van that I'm particularly fond of. They were, I think these badges were introduced in about 1952 or thereabouts. Yeah, we saw this gorgeous old Albion driving in before. JTM 402. All properly sheeted up at the back with the old traditional canvas and rope securing it. Not sure if we can peer in here. Again, beautiful livery. Let's have another look at that front end. Like I say, if you like your classic lorries or vintage lorries, or if there's a particular era of classic lorries that are your thing, please pop a note in the comments. It's always interesting to read your comments. There's the Albion chieftain badge. Albion sure as a sunrise, of course. That's the sunrise in the logo there. Albion oil engine. Absolutely beautiful. In front of the glorious Albion is a vehicle that will be familiar to anyone who's been watching some of these classic lorry videos that I've been publishing. The 1949/50 Sedan Mark 5L. This even has its own video on the channel, so if you've not seen it yet, please have a look at that. There is a playlist where all the classic commercial vehicle videos have been grouped together, so please check that out if you haven't already. Yeah, this is one of my favourites wherever we go and see it. Alongside that Sedan we have a Leyland. Really nicely turned out Leyland Comet. Diesel Leyland engine badge there. Looks like an older restoration, slightly faded now, but none the worse for that. Beautiful wood body on it. In the comments of one of the recent lorry videos I uploaded, someone said they were a fan of Atkinson, so if you're watching this, here you go, 2 of them. Very tall screens on this one. Lorries everywhere you look, and here we've got a Thames of the early 1950s, diesel powered. Twin axles at the back, single at the front. Next to my favourite old Sedan, we've got a Guy Invincible. Not something you see very often. And all this takes place outside a very period-looking truck stop. Now, in terms of square footage, this is probably the most impressive vehicle here, in the livery of Davies Brothers Haulage of London, Wapping E1. A beautiful old Scamel. Beauty that is. Was articulated with a tanker body on the back. It all looks very original, preserved as opposed to fully restored. An American pickup, looks like a Chevy or something similar. A Leyland Clydesdale, very much a 1970s lorry. There would appear to be a little surgery going on with this Morris Minor. Also got a chrome bumper MGB Roadster. In front of that, and in the livery of A and T Sharratt, Haulage of Worsley, we have this gorgeous Albion. Considering how long Albion hasn't been around in the lorry manufacturing world, it's amazing and great to see just how many of them turn up at these classic lorry events. I recently put a video together which should be uploaded fairly soon of pre-war lorries, and every other one almost could have been an Albion, so I had to be quite strict in terms of which ones I included, but it's great to see that so many of these classic lorries survive. Beautiful cast alloy radiator surround there. Lovely. The ERF, the E10 this time, and here we've got a G registration, so late 1960s FG, Leyland FG. These were badged as Austin, Morris or Leyland, I believe. Let's see which one this is. None of the above. I'll check the registration and see what it is actually, if it's an Austin, a Morris or a Leyland. But it's an FG with a threepenny bit cab, quite unusual because A, it has these deep windows down here to aid parking and manoeuvring, and B, the shape of the cab so that the doors are actually almost on the reverse side of the cab. Hopefully the camera's picking that up. It's quite an unusual design. Hopefully someone can tell me why they actually did this, but maybe it aided if you were parking somewhere narrow, you didn't have to rely on a huge space being available either side to swing the doors open, so you could actually open the door to get in and out with very little space either side of the vehicle itself. Perhaps that's what it was. Perhaps that was the thinking behind it. But whatever it was, it makes for a very individual looking truck that can't be mistaken for anything else really. And it's great to see this one here. Memories for me, there used to be one of these dumped near us back where I used to live when I was very, very small, and I used to play in it, all broken glass and so on. But it's the first old lorry that I really remember playing in, tinkering with and so on, pretending to be a driver back in the mid to late 1970s. That's great, that is. Let's have a quick peek in here as they left the window open. That's the operating lever for the tipper mechanism, which is on here. Edbro, very famous name in tipper manufacturing. Triumph Stag that drove past before. Well, Sandbach, the home of Foden and ERF, isn't too far away from here, so there's always going to be a good turnout of Fodens and ERFs here. And this is a Foden of the late 1950s, I'm guessing. when you walk around a classic commercial vehicle show, lorries, etc., you just wonder where it all went. There are so many vehicles here which are British, and yet, you know, just a few decades later, they're all just part of the history books now. Such a shame. Really nice old ERF now. We've had the Foden there, and there's the related vaguely ERF, also of Sandbach, with living accommodation on the back.
It's a mate of mine. It's funny really, I come here last week.
Lightning.
We had a bit of a meeting here, about once a month, local lads do.
Alongside that we've got another ERF, Gardner powered ERF. This one's called Elsie. Just lovely old lorries everywhere you look. This one's been driven over from a transport yard in Chirk by the look of it, over on the way to sort of the Welsh borders. It's not too far from here. What could look better outside an old style truck stop than a lovely old Bristol lorry. Like the Thornycroft we saw earlier on, this is also in the livery of BRS. In the old days before, the Albions going. As are the Stag, the MGB and the Morris Minor. But anyway, back to lorries. This gorgeous old Bristol. As I was about to say, before the dual carriageway over there was put in, this was the old road. So lorries would have parked up here day in, day out, outside this old truck stop. So it really is appropriate that this Bristol can be photographed in this, in this particular position. Over here we've got a stunning twin steer Foden of the late 1960s. I'm not sure I've seen this one before at any of the local lorry gatherings, so let's have a quick look at it. Well, there goes the Healy. What a beauty that is. Doesn't that look just right with the little FG behind it? The Bond mini car's going. Well, the Bristol and the Thornycroft are going. Foden's off. Appears to be a Mark 1 Austin Healey Sprite on a trailer. Well, the ERF's going. And behind that is the little Thames van, the little 307E. Lovely classic ERF of the 1950s. There's a little 307E. Then we got that Thames 4D. Behind the Thames lorry we've got the Albion JTM 402. Like I say, if there's any of these classic lorries that are your favourites, please let me know in the comments. This would have to be my top 3. And here we've got the Ford Corsair. And the superb ERF, a twin steer. Wow. Well, we've got the guy Invincible. And a pair of Atkinsons are going now. There's a little Ford Thames off. I'm reliably informed that this Vauxhall Bedford Midi might be for sale. So if anyone watching this wants a retro van that's in unusually good order, 61,000 miles from new with full history, drop me a message and I'll put you in touch with the people who own it. Quite a rare thing now. Original even down to its proper Midi wheel trims, no less. You hardly ever see these around now, so if you're after a usefully sized, old school, low tech, future classic van, let me know. Very straight sides. Just have a quick look down the other side. Again, very straight, very little in the way of tin worm, original arches. Have a quick look under here. Original paint under there. Like I say, very unusual for a van of this age to have survived that well. Well, like I say, if you're interested, let me know and I'll pass on the details. I had to take a quick snap of this. I don't think this is for sale. Here's an interesting little Ford I thought we'd just have a quick look at, and the owners tell me this is for sale. So if you're looking for a pretty rare Ford 100e Escort, the estate version of the 100e Saloon, drop me a note and I'll put you in touch with the owners. Like I said, this is a 1956 100e Escort. It's not been on the road for many years, and it's just as parked pretty much. Got most of the interiors in there, including the important bits in the back, the folding seats and so on. Quite a rare survivor now. Side valve Ford, it's the 1172 cc engine. It's got an Anglia badge on the back, unusually. But this is the proper estate version of the 100e with the split rear tailgate. The vans had two side hinged opening doors, and the estates had the lift up and drop down tailgate arrangement. So there you go. If you want a project, there's no paperwork with it, but the chassis number's there, and the engine I think is a replacement, but it's a sort of period correct replacement engine that's in there. So let me know if you fancy what it would be. A very interesting project. Have a quick look at the passenger side. The usual bits of tin worm along the bottom, sills, lower wings. And I think sills are available for these, and in any case it's not particularly complicated shape. So the important thing is that the glass is here, all the rear seat arrangements, the folding doodahs in the back, that's all there. It has the makings of a really interesting and practical little estate car. Door pillars don't look bad. You've got the supplying dealer's name on the dashboard there. Yeah, a very, very rare Ford from 1956. Even the doors shut beautifully. Well, I think that's most of the lorries gone now, so I think we're going to wrap up this particular video and head off before it starts raining. So thanks very much for watching. Please check out some of the other classic lorry videos that are now on the channel, and more videos like this very, very soon. Bye for now.